behind the screen, behind that glass slab, is like a supercomputer pointed at your brain that is predicting the perfect thing to show you.
The algorithm, your feed, the thing that controls your life, who you watch, views, followers, virality. How important is the thumbnail? What about retention, engagement, likes, comments, shares, watch time? What causes a video to go viral? What does the algorithm care about? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they're all a lot simpler than you think. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly how the algorithm works. But in order to actually understand the algorithm, you've got to go back to the mid-2000s. Actually, 2007. Back then, you've got all these tech companies rising in popularity. Netflix, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. A new wave of media companies and a new wave of technology built for the internet. And all of them are trying to solve the exact same problem, serving relevant content to their users. So you've got all of these platforms just growing like crazy. Just look at this user chart for reference. Their success is solely dependent on their content recommendations. All the stuff that shows up in your feed. So now we've got this giant social media ecosystem, and the average person spends about 40% of their waking hours looking at a screen. In America, the average screen time is upwards of 7 hours. Okay, but what actually is the algorithm? Everyone kind of just throws this term around as a blanket statement. Subscribe to help the algorithm. Like and share this video to help the algorithm, which please do because it does help a little bit. But that's just one signal the algorithm looks at. I mean, there's really two definitions to it. One is the generic broad definition that shows up when you do a Google search. The other is a bit simpler, which is basically a recommendation system that analyzes all of your past behavior to predict the things you're most likely to engage with. Both of these definitions get to the crux of the point, which is that these giant tech companies have these huge AI decision engines, which are constantly experimenting and iterating and creating this feedback loop where they're just learning and learning and learning. It's A/B testing at a magnitude you can't even imagine. And at the heart of things, it's just an algorithm that's determining what you see, when you see it, and where you see it. Behind that algorithm is a giant team of people, data engineers, data scientists being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Imagine an AI engine behind the scenes deciding exactly what appears in your feed. And your attention is the product, because if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Your attention is the thing that's being sold, and advertisers are paying billions of dollars to get in front of you. YouTube, Meta, TikTok, they all want to optimize towards this one metric, average revenue per user. So the more time you spend on the platform, the more ad placements they can sell to advertisers who want to reach you with their products. So the same technology that recommends content to you is the same technology that's serving ads to you. The first thing you have to realize about the algorithm is that it wants to serve as many ads as possible. More ads equals more money. So the algorithm is always going to push content that reaches the widest audience possible. Think of this as a Venn diagram where you've got YouTube, you've got users, and you've got the audience that you want to reach. One of the things you'll notice about almost every viral video is that there's some overlap across all three of these circles. Now, depending on what your niche is in, virality might be different. It doesn't have to be 100 million views. The point is, every video, every social post has a total addressable market that you can reach, meaning there's a finite number of people who are going to watch or read that thing. The best way to figure out what this is to just do a bit of research in your niche to see what kind of views people are pulling in talking about topics related to the audience you want to reach. And this leads me to point number 2. You've got to start with the idea. More than half of your time should be spent on pre-production, writing and researching, because all it takes is one post or video to go viral. It's not about making as many videos as you can or uploading consistently. It's about executing on one good idea. So the question is, how do you come up with an idea? Well, you have to think about who the audience is you want to reach, and you have to frame your content in a way that's not just interesting to them, but also just, the everyday Joe. And there's a pattern that every single creator uses to go viral, which is taking frameworks and reapplying them to your niche. Here's a great example. There's this great video called The History of the World, I guess. It was a super viral video. But if you look closely, you'll notice that a ton of other channels have taken this same concept and just reapplied it to their niche. Your packaging, your title, your thumbnail, it's the most important factor on YouTube. Doesn't matter how good your content is if somebody doesn't click on it to watch it. I mean, some of the best videos on YouTube literally have no views. Quality is not indicative of views. If you can't figure out what that interesting angle is, what the title is, what the thumbnail is, you shouldn't make it. It's the same for every social media platform. You've got to have an interesting hook to get the viewer in. The reason packaging is so important is because you're not just competing for your viewers' attention. You're competing against every other social media platform they could be using that has other content on it. on it. Your content should come last. In social media, you build the book cover before you write the pages. And the most important thing you can do is simplify your message. Cut anything that pulls away from the core story you're telling and the core message you want to get across. The first few seconds of the video, the first few words of your social posts, they should immediately address the hook that pulled the viewer in. You never want to use clickbait and do a rug pull. The information you convey is always going to be more important than the actual quality of your edit or your writing skills. Here's how I think about it. This is the exact framework I use to make videos. You've got the title and thumbnail, you've got the intro, you've got the hook, you've got your main points, and you've got your resolution. And then somewhere in the middle, you probably have a CTA to drive the viewer to do something. Watch a video, subscribe, like, share, one of those things. Okay, so what happens when you publish something? Now, obviously, the algorithm for every social media platform is slightly different, but fundamentally, they all work the same way under the hood. Let's just use YouTube, for example, because I'm more familiar with them. There's really two main ways people find videos on YouTube. You've got the homepage, and then you've got sidebar recommendations. If you're a big channel, the moment you post a video, it gets blasted out to all of your followers. In YouTube's eyes, you're premium content that they can sell ads on, because they already know which audiences to push your videos to. If you're a small channel and you upload a video, nothing really happens right away. But then all of a sudden, YouTube will start to push and test that video out against different audiences, and you'll notice your impressions will start to shoot up. But usually what happens though is in this flatlines. Basically what happens is big channels have established audiences that YouTube can push your videos to, and small channels don't. So YouTube has to spend more time learning who to serve those videos to. Okay, but what actually impacts whether or not a video goes viral? What's the difference between a video with 1,000 views and a video with 1,000,000 views? Well, the algorithm looks at a ton of different signals to determine whether or not it's going to continue pushing that video. Two of the most important ones are click-through rate and watch time. Click-through is the amount of people that clicked on the video when the thumbnail appeared in their feed, and watch time is the duration somebody watched your video for. YouTube uses these two factors as indicators to determine whether a video is good or bad. The algorithm's only going to test your video for so long because you have to remember it's already tested millions and millions of videos. It already knows the videos you watched, the ones you didn't watch, the ones you clicked off of, the ones you clicked on. It knows this video performed well with this type of thumbnail. This type of person watched this video, but not this one. And these tech companies have been doing this for nearly 2 decades. So they've got it down at this point. Okay, so what's the key to going viral then? Well, you can't really game the system, but you can create a litmus test to ask yourself some questions. Would you watch this? Is there an audience for this? Is there a proven framework for this? Is this an original idea? If you wouldn't watch it yourself, you shouldn't make it. The key to going viral is just making good content, not trying to understand the inner workings of the algorithm, because nobody fully does, not even the engineers working at these companies, but genuinely making content that you're passionate about and that you know other people will watch. And this is why every video that we make is on a topic that I'm genuinely interested in. Case in point, we just published a video on why everyone's wrong about AI. You should go watch it if you're interested in learning more about the algorithm.